I don't mind setting myself on fire again. This time I will set my whole body on fire.
Mm, mm, mm. Enough said. Let's get into it, y'all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the CMC Show, Candid Melanin and Conversations, where we discuss politics, black culture, sports, and entertainment. And I was searching the internet looking for black-owned media, be it in print or magazines or whatever. And I was just going through, just trying to see how many that were still in publication. Because, I was reminiscing about Jet, Ebony magazines and Right On. I don't know if you all remember all of that. And I was like, I wonder how many are still in publication. Well, I was going to do a story on that, but I found out that there's still a lot that are still in publication. But while I was doing it, I ran across this story out of one of those publications that talked about men in prison setting themselves on fire. And I thought, wow, what's up with this, right? So after looking into it, I discovered that indeed there were some prisoners or inmates setting themselves on fire. Now, just thinking about that for a second, conditions have to be so deplorable that a human being would actually set themselves on fire. Regardless of what you think about people that might be in prison and why they're there, we all know that this system is not perfect. Trust me, us as black people know that. So we know there are a lot of people that were convicted. Doesn't necessarily mean that the conviction was proper. So anyway, I ran across this story and let me play a little bit of this for you.
We reached out to Virginia's Department of Corrections, asking about the reports of self-immolation at Red Onion State Prison. They told us over the phone that no one had self-immolated, but that some prisoners did set themselves on fire.
No one self-immolated, but they did set themselves on fire. Well, whoever that spokesperson is for the prison, quite possibly they didn't get too far in school. But anyway, it goes on. There's more.
I got 5 years left. They put their hands on me. I'm going to defend myself, but I'm not trying to get no more time, and I'm not trying to let these people kill me. You know what I mean? Trying to say I was resisting or something, trying to find a reason to just put their hands on me.
Ekong and his cellmate lit themselves on fire. And Ekong was in the medical treatment area for 3 days before he was transferred 7 hours on a bus to Virginia Medical Institute for a skin graft. Wow. He said that his cellmate was injured more severely, but we have not been able to reach his cellmate, Trayvon. So there are people who are literally setting themselves on fire. And as you've heard or will hear Ekong state, he is considering doing it again. And my assessment is Ekong is not mentally ill. Ekong is desperate because of the conditions he's facing, because they are macing him for merely asking that people do not step on his Quran or to let him pray or to let him communicate with his family. There are all these tactics that they use to destabilize people, taking away their phone, putting them in isolation, trying to make them crack and break. And our support, our letters, our emails, our phone calls are that lifeline that they need.
Just absolutely shameful and horrible. I mean, this country, man, is just into this type of behavior, has always been into this type of behavior. There's more.
What happens when someone complains? When Ekong says this officer or this person, authority stomped on my Quran or called me racist names.
Or spit in my food, or
spit in my food.
sprayed
What happens?
Sprayed me 5 times with a very intense mace. They take the materials and they rip them up in front of you.
Ugh.
They take away your pencils. They tell you no one is going to listen. They give you a process that's circular that doesn't ever work. When we were advocating for Mumia Abu Jamal's medical care and to get hepatitis C treatment, a cure, which they were denying him, he was desperately in need of the cure to hepatitis C, and they were denying it to him. So they created a system where his grievance, before he could file a lawsuit, his grievance would go on forever, that there was no resolution of the grievance.
We're in the 21st century, but this sounds like 18th and 19th century stuff, right? Here's the finale.
Why is Red Onion on your radar these days?
We've had reports over the last number of years. Actually, one of our main correspondents, Kevin Rashid Johnson, has been reporting from Red Onion State Prison for over a decade.
Prisoners treated worse than dogs. Prisoners such as Curtis Garrett, who put up no resistance, but was mauled by 2 dogs and beaten by guards.
The conditions there are deplorable.
On Christmas Day in 2018, losing the use of an arm and leg as a result.
And they take many people from our inner cities and move them to this very remote location that has almost exclusively white staff, rural county, where the prisoners are almost exclusively people of color.
Well, I know I said that was the finale earlier, but I had to show one more clip. And so this is really the finale right here.
It sounds like what you're telling me that this is larger than just this prison too. What is happening here?
One of the disturbing things about the culture at Red Onion State Prison and Wallens Ridge is that they're predominantly white, not even predominantly white guards, but 99% white guards. So Kevin Rashid Johnson has told us that the perception on the outside is that there's diversity. There's not. There are Black prisoners and there are white guards. The white guards have Nazi and KKK tattoos on their arms and their bodies and are proud of them. They are unapologetic about, they use the N-word to objectify, and they are in a place that we are a country that has a legacy of 300 years of slavery, and they evoke slavery with the dogs. Dogs were used in the times of slavery to control and to kill people, and they use these animals to attack prisoners in the same way. Prisons like this attract certain types of guards.
This sounds just like that movie I saw recently called Antebellum, where they would take people from modern day and basically capture them, take them to a remote area and treat them like slaves all over again. I'm telling you, this country had a lot of blood on its hands and still dipping their hands in the blood bucket. I'd love to hear what you all have to say about this one. Until next time, peace.